When OP uncovers the truth about his wife's affair, it destroys all the trust he has in her. While he wants to fight for his marriage, he can't let go of what happened. So does something to try and even the score. To find out how this story ends, get yourself a coffee and grab a bowl of popcorn so we can get into it.
I've been married to my wife for 17 years. We have 2 teenagers together, and one just moved away to college. While this is my first marriage, it's the second marriage for my wife. We've had a pretty middle-class life with the regular ups and downs of a married couple. But about 9 years ago, my wife got a prominent and important, but low-paying part-time job. She was thrilled about it, and I was happy for her. But the job took up a large amount of time and involved working many evenings. This left me with oversized financial and domestic responsibilities, and I wasn't thrilled with this, and at the time, became less supportive of the part-time job. She complained about me not being supportive, and that I stopped celebrating her successes. About 6 or 7 years ago, I caught her having an affair with a colleague, which started off as a friendship that I was aware of. Eventually, though, it turned into an emotional affair, and then one night, they got a hotel room, which was really dumb because this guy had previously accused a female colleague of harassment. I was jealous, angry, hurt, and had a big fight with my wife, but with young kids and a one-time mistake, divorce was off the table. My wife said that she did it because she can't talk to me about work, and her colleague's supportive of her, unlike me. She swore that it was a mistake and said that she's ending it. While I believed her at the time, I found out that they hooked up again a year later at her going-away party. We had another fight, and she promised to cut off contact with him because she was leaving the job anyway. When the source of tension and the guy were gone, things got better between me and my wife. She was home more, and throughout all of COVID, our relationship got stronger. In late 2021, she got a new job. It was super tough and stressful, but it was a 9-to-5 that paid very well. She was working remotely on a lot of high-pressure stuff, and she mostly worked with a guy who lives in another city, which is a few hours away. They got close, and it became a work-husband type of relationship, so naturally it started to bug me. They had to travel together a couple of times, but she swore to me that nothing was going on between them, and I had no evidence to the contrary. She recently left that job, but they've chatted a few times since. I've overheard a lot of their conversations, and it was mostly about work. Our relationship right now is great, and I have no problem with my wife having male friends and colleagues, but the previous affair is still in the back of my mind, bugging me. I'm a little jealous, but more upset about missing out on the same thing. Since she had the affair, I've been open to having one of my own, but the opportunity hasn't presented itself, and I'd never openly pursue a woman at work. My wife recently visited friends in the city where her work husband lives, but I had no reason to suspect that she'd even see the guy when she was there, but the idea bugged me. While she was gone, I set up a meeting with an escort, which made me feel much better about the situation, so we're even now, I guess. Here's the thing. I'm okay with ethical non-monogamy, and while we haven't really discussed it, from what we have talked about, she's not really into it. Her interest comes from having an emotional connection first, and I'm pretty sure that happens unintentionally. Her sex drive is normal to low, and she puts in effort for me. The other problem is that she makes emotional connections with people more easily than I do, and I know my options as a guy are way more limited than hers. How do I get over the jealousy and put this behind us?
Sleeping with someone else just because your partner did is quite an immature response. If her stepping out on him was so painful, OP should have divorced his wife, because all this cheating is a breeding ground for toxicity. If I had to bet money, I would say that something probably did happen between his wife and her new work husband, as her past actions speak to her ability to betray her partner. While divorce isn't easy, people do it all the time, and many people are better off for it. Anyway, let's see if anyone had anything constructive to say in the comments.
Mysterious Dudeness says, starting a non-monogamous relationship when there's zero trust is a bad idea. Starting one when cheating has occurred is a bad idea. If you want to save your marriage, it's a bad idea. The only way to fix this is for her to build your trust, and you now need to build hers too. Taiwan Bandit says, personally, I never would have accepted her back after cheating. She didn't make a one-time mistake. There were many decisions that she made before they went to the hotel, then hooked up again 1 year later, that you know of, and then she blames you. She's a serial cheater. You don't mention what level of remorse she's shown, then you go out and cheat, thinking it will make you feel better, but here you are. What example does this show your kids? How do you get over the jealousy and put this behind you? You divorce and go your separate ways. This is a toxic marriage. Jokester says, so your wife stated that ethical non-monogamy is off the table because she needs the emotional connection to have sex. At the same time, she lacks proper boundaries and makes emotional connections very easily to the point that she had a work husband and still communicates with him, even though they don't work together anymore. The reason you can't get over the jealousy is because your wife's still not a safe partner. She hasn't changed her behavior and travels with her work husband after she cheated with a colleague before. No wonder you're struggling. It sounds like you swept her affair under the rug, and she suffered no consequences. She may very well be cheating again, but learned how to hide it better. Have either of you had individual or marriage counseling? That might be a place to start. I don't believe you or her having sex with other people is going to help either of you or your marriage. If you're at that point, it's time to just make an exit plan. There is life after divorce, and you can find happiness again with someone else. I divorced my first wife over infidelity and met my now wife during the divorce process. We've been married for 25 years. I hated the trauma I suffered through the affair and divorce, but I'm glad it happened because I found my wife and raised a wonderful family. Life's too short to spend it suffering. I wish you peace on your healing journey, no matter what decision you make.
I love the last comment because this Redditor is speaking truth. Life can continue after a divorce, so there's no need to stay with someone you can't trust and brings you misery. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Coffee and Popcorn, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.